keep the authenticity by actually just really sharing the very honest moments of my life. So I would say that if you want to do it, go ahead and do it now. I would say that don't think too much. Just go make that YouTube channel for yourself and start posting. So someone's giving me criticism, I absolutely love it.
Hello and welcome to the Success with Savita podcast, where we share hot tips on how to do life and business without losing your mind. I'm your host, Savita Nanjappa, entrepreneur, high-achieving 9-to-5er turned transformational success coach, helping you create a wildly successful business. Come hang out with me and other fabulous humans like you every week for stories and chats packed with a healthy dose of tips, resources, how-tos, and real talk. Side effects may include a happier and more confident you with each passing day. Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. And on today's episode, we have for you a really special guest, a digital content creator with a massive following, Shanice Shrestha. Shanice didn't really plan to become a content creator. She wanted to start out in acting, and she started her career as an actor in 2014. Shanice has an audience of over 1.5 million on her social media, following her both on YouTube and Instagram. While content creation wasn't really in the cards for her when she was pursuing her acting dreams in 2014, like they say, sometimes a person can change your whole life. And for her, it was her husband, Nikhil, who goes by the handle Mumbaikar Nikhil, also with a massive following, who introduced her to content creation and made her explore multiple new places across the globe. Shanice regularly vlogs about her day, touching upon topics of parenting, motherhood, career, makeup, style, travel, and so much more. Join me as I talk to Shanice in this insightful conversation, and she shares with us her tips on how to grow on YouTube. Hi, Shanice. Welcome to the Success with Savita podcast. And for me, this is really exciting because we've never had someone who has such a big YouTube following before. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about many topics, least of which is YouTube. So welcome. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm also very excited to have this conversation with you today and share all that I can.
Yes, I know that you have a huge amount of value to share with our audience. But before we get started, I have been binge watching your videos now. But for our audience, share with us a little bit about your journey and your journey from acting, especially into content creation. I believe both is the same. You're both creators, still an artist. But what has been the journey like for you? When did you get started and what led you here?
So when I was into acting, that was when I was a student. I was just 18 when I got into acting. I just passed out of my acting school. And then I was like, you know what, why not give it a try? So I started giving auditions and everything. It was so exciting for me as a young girl, like, auditioning for different roles and then actually getting them. That was even more exciting. And then when you get your first paycheck, I was like, wow, this is such a cool job. Like, you get to act, you play different roles and you get paid for it. So it was very, very happening, very exciting for me. And then came YouTubing. YouTubing was a very, very different concept, For me, I was not, I didn't know anything about YouTube. My husband, then my best friend introduced me to YouTube. Like, not really regular at the start. I couldn't understand what to do and stuff like that. But then eventually I started really enjoying it because in acting, somebody else wrote the script for you. But you had to follow that, right? The characterization that they gave you. But in YouTube, you could be yourself and you could share yourself as a person and people would love you for that. So I just absolutely loved being a YouTuber all of a sudden. And for me, it was like the moment I realized I want to be a YouTuber full time. So it's been really exciting for me like that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And it's very interesting that you say acting someone else's creator role for you. And here you get to be yourself. But a lot of people feel the other way. They're like, if there's a role acting karna hai, to we can do it. But, every day filming yourself is so hard. So it's very interesting. And you also mentioned that you went to acting school. Did you always know you want to be in front of the camera?
No, I actually didn't really know. When I passed out my 12th standard board exams, there was a lot of free time to do, and there was nothing left for me to do. And my mom to see me seeing a lot of movies and a lot of series, and she used to be like, "Why don't you go to acting school? You know, you have got great expressions. I see you like when I used to act in my school drama and stuff." So she was like, "Why don't you give it a try?" So I went there just to have fun, to make new friends on a vacation, and eventually, like the first class was a little bit difficult for me, but then I started enjoying it so much, and I was like, wow, I think my mom just picked something that I could really do for the rest of my life. So that's how I actually, pursued acting.
Okay, interesting. So you always, I'm sure it was not the school, I'm sure you were always this confident in front of the camera or otherwise.
Yeah, I've always been this confident. Yes. Right
Okay.
from my childhood, I've been very, very confident.
Okay, we're going to dive into that a little bit because that's one thing people don't have, right? In front of the camera. It's not easy. Like the biggest thing people say, I'd rather die than be on stage. So before we go
Yeah.
into that, I want to ask you, I know it's been a lovely journey for you from acting into content creation, but alongside, YouTube, alongside that, you also got married. You also have a little one. Has l- has there been many challenges, or it's been something that you've taken in your stride and moved on so far?
I would say that life has taken a 360-degree turn. There are many changes in my life. And being a mom at 26 was not very easy for me because all my friends were like, doing jobs, going out, having fun. And all of that had to stop because responsibility takes all over you. And in the beginning, it was very overwhelming for me. But at the same time, the amount of love that I received from my baby, I think I've never received that amount of love, the true, purest form of love. So to me, it was like, it made me so happy. It filled my heart so much. But at the same time, I was also missing out on a lot of things. And I had to tell myself literally that it's okay. It's just sort of matter of time that I get to do these sacrifices. And then I can just do whatever I want to do. So yeah, life has changed for me. I have to always keep making decisions about what I should choose first. And for me, I always choose my little one first. To me, that's priority.
I know it's a vlog, but there's so much love that and authenticity that we can see that. So now we'll dive into YouTube, and for our audience listening in, the numbers that Shanice has on her YouTube is what we all aspire for at some point. So let's start with when you chose to go down, when you chose to go into YouTube. Was there a strategy that you had in place, or it was just like, okay, chalo, let's figure out? Like, what was the early days like?
So back in the days, YouTube was not a very popular concept. There were not many people on the platform, and everyone was experimenting with different things. And at that moment, I was like, what should I do? I don't know what I should do. And eventually, like my husband, because he was already a YouTuber, told me a very nice thing. He said the most important thing on YouTube being the most strongest social media platform back in the days, he was like, you have to make like a very personal connect with your audience. If they connect with you now, whatever you put on there, they're going to love you for it. So you be yourself, share your life with them, share who you are, so that they fall in love with who you are. So that was the point I kept in mind, and I did whatever I could do that time. Of course, I was confused. I would make beauty videos, I would make clothing videos, and then eventually I made the shift to vlogs, where I saw that my audience was actually loving it much more than all the rest of the content that I created. And I was like, okay, this is the thing that I can pursue forward on, and that plays a big role in growing my YouTube channel.
So you
Yes.
did a few things. It's not like you didn't try and test and you just decided from day one, this is it and thing, but vlogs is what connected. So the point to keep in mind is the connection to audience. That's what I hear you saying, which is, I think, absolutely bang on. But the next question I have for you is now that you decided to do vlogs, right? What came next? Like, did you have like a calendar? How do you come up and how do you plan your content? When do you record? When do you research? When do you always like on the fly? I'm sure it's not unplanned.
Okay. So honestly, I will have to tell you the truth. It is mostly unplanned, okay? Because I don't know how my day is gonna go. And like you said in the beginning, you find it very authentic. I keep the authenticity by actually just really sharing the very honest moments of my life. I don't plan that, okay, this is what I'm gonna do today to make my blog interesting. what I do is, if there's something while I go about with my life, if there's something very interesting happening, like more special moment with Sky, or something that I'm cooking for the first time, or trying something new for the first time, or there's a very interesting conversation happening between me and my husband, me and my friends, or my family, I try to put the camera on then and record those moments, because if I am having so much fun in the moment, or there's something for me to learn, I feel like that I can share with my audience, and there's a takeaway for them from this, or there is something that entertains them from this. So that's actually how I decide to press record on my camera, and I shoot it and I actually share it. So I don't have a calendar. It's just that someday I also think that I should take a break, because I need to like just free my mind completely so I can be more creative and do more things, go out, be more productive. But yeah, most of the days it's unplanned.
What I'm hearing you say is that you know your audience, you know what works. And I think
Yeah.
two things that you take, and we always say that content that people resonate with is something that teaches, or which is like this, right? The podcast is about, hey, how can you grow on YouTube and we learn from
Yes.
you? Um, but also, just how can we entertain? And I think if you know that, you don't need to really look for content or create like out of thin air. It's just there. And I think
Yeah.
you're an example of Gary, what Gary says, which is document your day. And I think you do that so well. Now I have a different question, Shanice, which is okay. So
Okay.
authentically, it's when you see something now, it's also the intuition and the experience as a content creator. Okay, now I should turn it on, and this would be something that my audience will like. um, but then, is there a point when you look at your stats, you look at your analytics, you look at growth, how you're growing and how your videos are performing?
Yeah, I think that is very, very important. It's very important to make sure that you check your statistics, your analytics, and everything, because it tells you a lot about what kind of content your audience is appreciating and what kind of content are not really engaging into. Because if your goal is your growth, which I think for everyone is, you can kind of focus on the content that actually works more well with your audience, and you can create more like that.
Yeah.
So that will contribute a lot to growing your channel a lot more faster.
Yeah.
So I always check. For me, the biggest achievement I had lately is that my female audience has gone to 80%. Brands also work more with you because they believe that women have the purchasing power. So women buy easily. So, you get a lot more brands to work with you also. So to me, it's great that I have been able to share my life so well on YouTube that more female audience have come connected to my channel.
Yeah.
So analytics is very important. You got to keep checking in.
Okay. So this is a very selfish question. So now I'm looking at my analytics. Maybe I tried a specific type of video topic. Okay. I check it's not done well. Should I try again? How many times would you try a similar type of content before you say, okay, this is absolutely not working? Do you just give up on like, should you do one, two, three times and then decide?
So see, honestly, there's one content that you really enjoy making, and there's another content that works, so you try to experiment with it, right? So
Yeah.
I would say that if you're experimenting a totally new content just because you thought it would work and it doesn't, so you can probably shift on to the next topic that you think would work. But if you failed the first time, but you really enjoyed creating it, maybe you could try again and again, and maybe your audience will actually adapt into it, or you will just get new audience who's attracted to that kind of content. So I
Yeah.
think you just don't give up. It depends upon your liking. Do you really enjoy making that content or you don't?
Okay.
Because eventually, I feel as a YouTuber all over these years, I've learned is if it's something that you really enjoy doing, it will reflect in your work, and then the audience also sees it, and then you will grow your audience that way.
Oh,
That's my point of view. I don't know, maybe somebody else has some other point of view, but that's what I think.
and I think that's really insightful. Thank you for sharing that because, yeah, that's the fact that if you enjoy, it's going to come through. And there comes your
Yeah.
authenticity. There comes that passion for what you're doing. And therefore, you connect with people. Yeah, great advice. I'm loving this conversation so far.
I'm
And
so glad. Yes.
yeah. Okay. So, my next question for you is okay, let's assume that, hey, I'm convinced. I've been sitting on the fence and I've been like, I have to make some content. I have this business, whatever. So I decide to start a YouTube channel. But here's the thing that I hear most people say, right? They're like, oh, YouTube is so crowded and maybe I'm too late. 5 years ago, if I'd started, it would have been better. What do you think what's the answer to that? Is it too late to start a channel or is it overcrowded?
I think if you asked me this pre-COVID, I would say, yeah, it's become crowded, and there are these top names that actually just kind of conquer the whole YouTube game. But
Mhm.
now, after COVID, I think it's opened so many opportunities. YouTube now has short form content called as shorts, and so many people are on it, and new creators are getting immense growth so quickly. The platform is set, and I think it's not late. This is the best time more than ever to start a YouTube channel, because you can actually just share anything you want and you would get growth for it. So there's no better time than this. And I would say that back in the days when we started, it was very difficult to gain subscribers. Today, it isn't. Like, I know some people who just started like now, few months ago, and they've already crossed 1 million of subscribers just because of making shorts. So I would say that if you want to do it, go ahead and do it now. And if you think there's something you can share, definitely you're gonna grow, because the opportunities of growth are much more today.
Okay, I'm going to try YouTube Shorts, taking it from the boss.
Yes.
All right. Now coming to thing. Okay, now there are two groups of people. There's somebody who knows, who's not on YouTube, not interested, doesn't care, and it's not their platform, which is fine. Now, what was your advice to someone? Let's say I want to get on YouTube. I love it. I can make content. I'm just starting out. What are some things to keep in mind or plan for just before I start my channel? Because now you have so much experience. There's some things when you look back, you wish you would have done differently. What is your advice for someone who just wants to start out when they're thinking about starting a channel, whether in terms of genre, in terms of types of video, anything that you have as advice?
I would say, like, to anyone, if my friend asked me this question, I would say that don't think too much. Just go
Mm.
make that YouTube channel for yourself and start posting. Probably you don't have to plan content. Check out your phone. Sometimes there are so many videos that you record for yourself of certain moment, and you can just start by uploading that and see how your audience, kind of reacts to it. Because like I told you, nowadays people are so open to consuming content. Every person you see is either on Instagram, either on YouTube, and people like swiping up away. So if you start your YouTube channel, you upload, and then just start sharing whatever it is that you can. Like you said, I can create content. So whatever you like, whatever you think you can do, you should. Probably it can be just certain moments from your day. If you like cooking, maybe a shot of you making coffee, a shot of you making any dish that you like, and just put it out there. Because they feel that if you don't start, you don't know how that journey is gonna, grow into you.
Yeah.
So you just have to start. You take the first step, and the rest of it follows. Like, if I didn't start, I wouldn't know that I could make a career out of this, right? So I always said, everybody, don't think too much. Just
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. Stay tuned as we take a quick break, and we'll see you on the other side of the show. Okay.
do
So
it.
for all the people who are thinking about stock video, great editor, professional videographer, forget all that. Just get started with your own phone, and
Yes.
it's fine.
Yes.
Okay. My the second one is for the person who's been there. They've been on YouTube. They do
And
some.
with experience, I think you just will get better.
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
So my next one is the person who has been on YouTube. They do some content, be consistently on it, but they've not made too much of a headway. They've grown a little bit, or the growth is really slow. Now, for this person has some experience, what would you suggest? Is there any advice for this person to, kind of supersize their growth in any way? Besides, of course, shorts, they must do shorts because it's a new thing. Is there anything else you would say to this person who's just stuck?
So I would say, if you've been doing YouTubing for quite some time and you don't see a growth, that's something that you might be doing wrong. There are always mistakes that we make, and we're not able to reciprocate them in the right way. So I would say, go through all your content pieces and see which did better than the rest, and why some pieces didn't do that well, and which did well. Try to see what I can do to make these even more better. Experiment more. Like,
Yeah.
also do some research on content on YouTube and see what kind of content is something that people really, really like. And you can pick something like that. Because if your end goal is to be a YouTuber, that means you don't have any other option. So it's about experimenting more, trying more, and being also more consistent. When you're consistent every day, people, like, if 100 people are watching a video today, and you're consistent, what they do is they try to get in the loop of watching you. And soon you know that they are connected and more people, they're talking about you and more people join into your channel. So I think that is one tip I would give anybody who's not seeing growth.
Yeah, yeah, I think great. You're like your experience really shows because you're able to say these are the things that you definitely need to look at. And and now my question would be about monetization, right? Everybody thinks they're going to make money on the first day. No, you're not. But at what stage, let's say I started now, at what stage should people really think about monetization? It may not happen like, sometimes I hear like young teenagers talking about, I'm going to be a YouTuber, right? Because I think they can make a career out of it because so many have. What's your view on this and how do they go about it in terms of monetization?
So I would say that now this is going to be a very blunt answer. If your goal is to like make money, don't join YouTube. Okay, if that's your first goal that I want to make money, so that's why I want to be a YouTuber, please don't be a YouTuber because then you're going to be in that group. You're not going to perform well. Your end goal is going to be, oh, I want to make money. And if you don't make money through a certain video, which you're not going to for a lot, many years in the start, like, the kind of money you want to make, you're going to be demotivated and you're not going to do well. But if your goal is that I actually want to share my passion, I want to share the content that I can create with my audience and make them love me, then you are definitely going to make a lot of money. It's going to take time, of course. YouTube monetization is never going to pay you that much of money unless you hit like millions and you get like a certain amount of views regularly. Till then you're not going to make a good amount of money that you would say, oh, I earn well from YouTube to, take care of my lifestyle. But one thing it's going to give you as you grow is that it will give you brands that will work with you and they pay you good well enough to maintain a very, very good lifestyle. So I think your goal first should be like, I want to really be a good YouTuber. I want to focus on my content and then everything else follows. So monetization should never bother you in the start. It'll happen as you get better at it. And you'll see that sometimes you're not even monetized, but there are brands who want to work with you. That happened with my sister as well. Her channel was not monetized, but she was like being really regular. And there were small brands who reached out to her and were ready to pay her for it also. So I think it just goes that way.
Yeah. Oh no, awesome. I think that's great advice. And yeah, don't get carried away by Mr. Beast and so many others because that's what people think. That I'm
Yeah.
gonna go on and people will follow me easily and it's gonna happen. Or there's a disappointment, right? You do it for 3 months and you think like, okay, why isn't this working and why am I not getting paid? And like I think like now you're also saying that it's not overnight and it takes some amount of time. And you've been doing this how long now, Shanice?
So for me, it's been 4 good years into YouTubing properly. That's when like I started pursuing on a serious note. And yeah, it's been proper 4 years.
Wow. And how do you manage? What's a day in your life look like? Like managing having a baby, creating, doing this, plus, everything else that happens in your life. What's your day like?
So see, before when I was like not a mom, not married, my day was very easygoing. I would wake up, I would go out, I would think I'll go film this outside today, that outside today. I would be out with my friends. But now responsibilities have overloaded me. And my day kind of revolves around my baby because she's really small. And she only comes to me for comfort and for love. So when I wake up in the morning, it's like I quickly get ready. In fact, when I go to the bathroom, I have to keep her at the side and then brush my teeth and let her play with some objects. Yeah, and then after that, I like just get her to eat, then I eat, and then I take her down for a play, maybe workout.
Yeah.
I've just started to feel like I need to get in shape now. It's been a year. So yeah, working out. And then to those moments, I actually try to put the camera on if there's something nice happening and shoot it and then share it with my audience as well. So that's exactly how my day flows.
Okay. Okay. So being a full-time mom is not easy, obviously, and especially when they are smaller, right? And then there's so many things that's happening with your little one as well. But I think you can't be the YouTuber that you are and have the success that you have without some fair amount of organizing, planning, um, being able to deal with the sleepless nights because they happen, all of that. What has been your biggest learning through all of this in the past 4 years, going through motherhood, all of this? What's your biggest learning? If you want to share more than one, of course. that's okay too?
I think my biggest learning in life is that, especially through social media all over the years, and now being a mom and also being a content creator, juggling between these two roles, is that take it easy, take it slow. Nothing needs to be rushed in life. Because sometimes when we rush it, I tend to get very, very anxious and then my brain just doesn't function right. So over these years, I've learned is like if you take it slow, you can actually comprehend well, you can organize your thoughts well, and you can perform better. If you start rushing into things like, oh, there's a competition outside, I need to do better than the rest. Oh, I'm not doing this. I need to create content, but I have to also be a mom. It's just a big, big mess. What you do is you create even more big mess in your content. So that's the biggest thing I learned all over the years, that just take it slow, take it easy, give yourself break whenever you need it.
Okay. How do you deal with criticism and trolls?
Okay, so in the start, I was not very well prepared to deal with trolls and stuff like that. When they used to say that, I used to feel the urge of like replying back. But then eventually, I learned that through experience that what they say doesn't reflect who I am. It's not going to change who I am. It's just a reflection of what they are. When people type whatever they it's just showing who they are as a people. So I just learned to deal with it. Or the biggest thing is now I just don't read comments that often. Like if I'm going through my comments and I reply, I do reply to all my audience, all my comments on YouTube. That's something I love to do from day one. So what I do is if someone's giving me criticism, I absolutely love it because I think criticism opens ways for growth. If it's real, if you take criticism nicely, you can actually grow better. So criticism is a big thumbs up for me. I love it. When you're criticizing me in a good way, I will take it very happily. But if you are like trolling me, it's something now I just easily flip through it. I just be like, it's okay, I don't care. So the biggest thing I would say, if someone's criticizing you and if you think it's genuine, please work on it. It will really make you much better. But if someone's trolling you, just ignore it. Hands down, just ignore it. Don't let it play with your mental health at all. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I love the positivity that and the maturity that you have, and you're saying criticism is welcome. Very few people will say that, and I know a lot of people have told me that they just ignore it. But I love that your response is you're going to look at it and see there's something to it. For
Yeah.
someone so young, you're really worldly aware and wise. But what's your biggest strength? I would say that's your strength, but is there something else that you would name as your biggest strength?
My biggest strength is being patient. Being patient. I'm a very, very patient person. Like if you tell me to wait for as long as I can, like if someone's getting angry in front of me and something like that, I can be so calm. I think that's my biggest strength in life. That I'm never rushing things. And no matter how stressful the situation is, I can be very patient in that situation. I can wait for it to pass, and only then will I make a move. So I think that's my biggest strength in life. And my mom, dad, and also my husband keep telling me, how are you so calm? How are you so patient all the time? That's my biggest strength, I think.
Ah, okay, lovely. I know your husband is also a YouTuber. What's the dinner table conversation like? And is there competition healthy also? But is there any competition between the two, or what's your conversations like when it's about work?
Oh, we have conversations about work. I think 70% of the time we're always talking about what can be done better, what are the new trends, new things they do actually make sense or not. And we're always talking about our future travel plans, what can we do to integrate ourselves into the reel and the shorts community, because that's very new to us, the short form content. So we're just learning about it. So our conversations nowadays that revolve around that. And we get to learn a lot from each other. Like there are some things that I understand better, or something that he understands better. So there's this very healthy exchange of conversations that help us both learn things better. And honestly, since day one, like there has never been a competition between us both. Of course, he's way higher up, like he's one of the biggest YouTubers of the country.
Sure.
And there's never been a competition. He always pushes me to do better. He tells me, you have great potential, so go ahead. So I have a very, very supporting husband like that.
Awesome. Is there a hack that your husband has that you can share with us? That insider tip that you can give us for YouTube? Is there something that comes to mind?
I already told you that in the beginning of the video, that he used to tell me that do something in a way that the audience connects to you. Once they connect to you, they're going to love absolutely anything and everything you do.
Okay, so
There's
that
no greater hack than that on social media. I'm telling you.
okay. I'm gonna try it now. The challenge is to figure out what the audience likes. So that's where you have to try multiple things and see what
I think you should also share more parts of your life.
yes, that's what personally I have been told that. I think I'm like this, right? Okay, how much is enough? What will people like? Are people really going to be interested in this and what? But yeah, I'm really taking away so much from this conversation. And as we come towards the end of the interview, I have something to ask you, which is, what is one thing Shanice does really well when it comes to
One,
video or you
what
general? That's also fine.
I think in life, I clean up mess really well. If I win something or someone has created like a mess or there's a situation that needs to be solved, I think I'm great and I can really clean up the mess very well, solve issues very well. And secondly, I think that I'm also very, very great in terms of coming up with ideas in my brain. If someone tells me that there is this concept, can you write the script for me? I am excellent at it. My brain runs really, really fast. So in terms of YouTubing, that has really helped me quite a lot because when it comes to like putting what my life is going through in words, I can do it really well in a way that people or the audience would connect.
Perfect. Now, I want to ask you, and I think the answer is that yes, you did it. If you saw somebody's content, would you not would you be able to pinpoint, hey, this is what is working for you and this is what isn't working for you? Is that something that you feel also you would be able to do well?
Yes, I think I could do it really, really well. I cannot understand now that what in a certain video is working or not working because that's exactly how if I go to the analytics of a video that hasn't worked well for me and I go through it completely, I can completely understand when I watch it, rewatch it, that, oh, I shouldn't have done this or I could have changed this and it would have been better. So, yeah, it's very, very easy for me to do it now.
But the one thing I hear from people, whether on audio or on video, they hate watching themselves. Um, What about you? Do you like, you don't mind like looking at your videos and see, whatever, whether it's to review or to just watch how it came out? Are you comfortable watching yourself?
So I'll tell you a very funny situation that happens in my house. I don't know why, but my husband is always playing my YouTube videos on the TV and watching it. And sometimes we're like cooking in the kitchen or making coffee for myself. And I walk out and I'm like, why are you playing my videos? It feels
Okay.
so, it feels so weird to see myself doing something. So yeah, I do feel like this shy of weird feeling watching my own self, but it's not that I don't watch my videos. Many times I do watch to see if I've improved over the years or not. So
Mhm.
I do watch sometimes, but all alone. In front of people, I feel really weird when people are watching my videos. And
Yeah.
the same thing goes for my husband, Nikhil, too. Like, if I watch his videos on YouTube, even he shies away.
Oh, okay.
That's how we start, like, teasing each other sometimes at home.
Yeah, so I mean, I was wanting to ask you this question because I was like, I would love to hear that answer because for us, it's like, we are not on video all the time or making, we are not where you are, but it feels cringe. Like, and I can't even sometimes listen to my own podcast voice, right? I'm like, oh God, I can't do this. Uh,
I think that happens to everyone. It's a humility thing.
yeah. Okay, so before we move on, come to the end of my interview, I think, Shanice, the work that you do that really stands out for me is just you're so, what I found about your log is also, I mean, here you are, like your hair is fabulous, you're looking fabulous, but sometimes in your videos, you're just like, in your pajamas and you're so chill. And I think that's something that's not easy to do. So you're very authentic, you're very down to earth. It's easy, very easy to relate to you, especially because so, yeah, I mean, so far I've taken away so much from you. I think you will be able to give us more insight into YouTube. That's something you should explore, teaching people about growing on YouTube. Now we have a quick, I'm just going to call out a word. This is a game that we have where I'll call out a word. You just have to say the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, let's try this. Name one thing that comes to mind when I say the following word: YouTube.
Popularity,
Okay, parenting,
love,
movies.
entertainment,
I know you answered this criticism. So,
growth.
yeah. Okay. A mantra you live by.
A mantra I live by is live and let live. I really, really believe in that. Everything
Okay.
goes in harmony then.
Love it. Love it. Laugh.
I think love is a lifelong friendship where effort should never stop.
Ah, okay. Marriage?
Marriages are sacrifices.
Okay. Okay, I have an answer to common marriage. And the final one is daughters are daughters.
Our friend, best
Ah,
friend.
yes, I agree. I have a daughter too. With that, thank you for such a lovely interview. And I feel like the key points to take away: authenticity, figure out what your audience likes, or read your analytics. Just start. I think just start. That's like the greatest thing, that thing, and consistency, of course. There's so much to take away from this, and we hope to do a part two with you at some point. So all the best, cheering you on, and forever fans over here. So cheering you on always. Thank you for your time today, and look forward to reconnecting again, Shanice.
Thank you so much. I had such a lovely time talking to you as well. I thought I was talking to a friend, so it was a very heartwarming and nice conversation. And I hope that we can do a part two very, very soon if I bring value to your audience as well.
Of course, I think you brought so much value, and I have like a whole bunch of other questions that I think I already. But we'll connect again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like this episode and you want more, you can go to the show notes on my website, which is successwithsavita.com/podcast. If you like what you've heard so far, I would be grateful to you if you could leave me a 5-star review, subscribe to this podcast, and share with a friend who may find this useful. You can also follow me on my Instagram at successwithsavita and DM me any questions you may have, and I will be happy to answer them for you. Until the next episode, believe in yourself and all the best to your success.